Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports, also streaming live now on the ACC.com and on the official ACC mobile app. If you have not seen the Peterson Event Center, you're in for a treat today. It's the Roar on Terrace Street. 12,500 have poured in here today. It is a sold-out game. Our Carolina four keys to the game, Jason, looks like what?
Well, when you're thinking about the four keys to the game, when you're looking at Georgia Tech, create transition scoring opportunities. The Jackets are second to last in scoring offense, while outscored 15-4 in transition their last contest. And then for the Pitt Panthers, clean the glass, control the paint. These Panthers have to do a great job of rebounding the basketball. They've been out rebounding 3 of the 4 contests so far in conference play. Understanding that the Jackets make a living on offensive glass, the Panthers have to be strong inside. You got to look at Jamie Dixon, the 49-year-old head coach here at Pitt, won his 300th game Wednesday night, beating Florida State. Brian Gregory is 48 years old, 4th year at Georgia Tech, looking for his first ACC win of the year. And we're underway. Georgia Tech has it first. This is a team that has struggled 4 points most of the year, although they've played some really good ball games, and Charles Mitchell turns it over. That's an early turnover for the Jackets, and their post players have not done a good job this season of taking care of the basketball. On that possession, Mitchell got doubled. He has to do a better job of dribbling out, find the open man, and make the correct pass. The officials today, Tim Nestor, Ray Perone, and Tony Chiazza. This is a good officiating crew. And James Robinson comes around off the pick and a whistle and a foul. I believe it'll be called on Heath. Well, the Jackets coming out very aggressive defensively. You see Josh Heath there trying to jump the screen, trying to fight through. I'm sure in practice, Brian Gregory has challenged his team to be better defensively, and you see there with an early foul. This is for 3. Comes up short. Artis had a good look, wide open from the corner. Here's a good pass left side, and Hayward is fouled. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. And that's exactly what you have to do if you're the Jackets. You control the backboard, you get the ball out in transition. You cannot allow this Panthers defense to get set. Good rebound. Heath has his hands up, whips the ball up the lane to Hayward, who crashes down the lane with a chance now to step to the line for 2. So Artis picks up his first personal. Corey Hayward goes to the line. He's only 2 for 4 this year, and rattles that one around and out. He started the other night. He gives Georgia Tech a lot of energy, but was not starting early in this season. Well, he wasn't playing a lot early in this season, but I'm sure Brian Gregory's just trying to find the right buttons to push guys to get effort in practice and do the little things that he sees day in, day out that can help this team get to the winner's circle. So Georgia Tech takes the lead. Just underway. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Peterson Event Center. Tim Grant and Jason Capel with you all afternoon. Here's Wright. Artis again. He goes inside. Young to the basket. And Cox with a rebound. Charles Mitchell is the guy underneath who's had that sweet jump hook all year. He's averaged almost a double-double. 11 points, 8.5 rebounds a game. Hayward takes it to the basket, loses it out of bounds, and with 11 on the shot clock, it'll belong to the Jackets. Hayward has come out being very aggressive, attacking off the bounce, getting down the middle of the lane. I thought that was a little bit of contact, and I think Brian Gregory did as well. But these guys are aggressive. They're turning down open shots, trying to get a little closer to more high percentage shots for the Yellow Jackets. George's Hunt goes in. He's fouled by Jones. We'll look at Jamie Dixon. Became the head coach here in 2003. Got his 300th win the other night. He was a pretty good player at Texas Christian. An assistant for a long time, including being an assistant here before he got the head job. Marcus George's Hunt makes the first one. He's a 75% free throw shooter. He's now made 65 of his 85 attempts this year. They need his offensive effort. Again, in the last contest, he struggled from the field. He's a guy that's a slasher. He can make outside shots, but he's much better in transition and then in the half court, slash into the basket, putting pressure on the defense.
Makes them both, and it's a 3-0 lead by the Jackets.
See Georgia Tech extending their defense. Josh Heath picking up 94 feet, trying to cut into this clock, speeding up the Panther offense.
Here's Wright for two. Bang.
Nice curl, perfect cut by Cameron Wright. Set his man up. Knew the defense was trailing, so he curled it. Feet and hands ready. Pops up for a nice two-point jump shot.
Georgia Tech's been on the road a lot early in the ACC season. Pitt obviously playing 3 in a row here at home, and that makes a difference.
Well, it makes a big difference. Again, you have to take care of your home court. And, when you have a chance to string together a couple games at home, you have to take full advantage of that. And the Panthers doing a nice job defensively to start this game.
Here Wright looks at it again from beyond the arc. Good defense. Now he penetrates, takes it with the left hand, and another rebound by the Jackets. Marcus Georges-Hunt will go to the line. He's fouled again.
Well, Cameron Wright comes off this screen. You see he plants his inside foot. His hands are ready. He rises right up above Corey Hayward to knock in the shot. And then you got the Zoo. The Zoo is ready. They're live. They're going to cheer their Panthers on to possibly a victory here today.
Chris Jones picks up his second personal early in the ball game here. Marcus makes his third in a row. He's been in double figures 5 of the last 7 games. He needs to be there almost every game for the Jackets to win. Hayward goes out. Heath goes out. Get our first look at Jorgensen. He's been a starter here. And Jackson.
Georgia Tech early has obviously tried to rev up the tempo. They're getting the ball down the court. They're attacking the basket again. Tim, they labor to score the basketball. They have to get transition opportunities, and they've done that in this game by getting fouled and stepping to the line and knocking in the free throws.
So it's a 5-2 Georgia Tech lead. Boy, Wright too easy to the basket, but he'll go to the line to shoot 2. He got fouled.
With just a nice little misdirection there in that possession. Pitt, they ran a misdirection for Cameron Wright. He starts under the basket, puts his head under the rim, fakes like he's coming out the opposite side, comes back out the same side off of a stagger. Again, plants his feet, gets to the line.
Brian Gregory, the coach at Georgia Tech, coached under Tom Izzo at Michigan State, took Dayton to the NCAA tournament, trying to turn the program around in Atlanta. Brian Gregory, of course, he was a Naval Academy guy, played with David Robinson there, then transferred and went to Oakland University, where he's a 3-time all-conference player. Wright gets the roll, and it's a 1-point game. But Jason, you made the point. Jackets have been able to get to the line. They're 5 of 6 there. That's kept them in the ball game early, actually given them the impetus and the momentum early. Jorgensen's not a shooter. He'll try to take it inside as often as he can. Ball's loose. Cox couldn't grab it, so the Panthers come away with it.
That's what the Panthers have to do. 50-50 plays, loose balls. They have to come up with those plays. They're the smaller team in size and girth. They're smaller than Georgia Tech. They have to fight every possession to secure the ball.
Nice spin move by Young.
To be a big guy, he is so skilled, so quick on his feet. Nice footwork inside for the finish at the hoop.
Cox puts it on the floor, reverses it, can't finish. Good hustle. And a possession arrow will belong to Pittsburgh. Robert Sampson with good hustle, but couldn't come away with it.
Well, Michael Young sets the pick, rolls, spaces up, puts him in the blender. Nice little spin move and powers the ball to the basket. This guy's big, he's physical, but he's very light on his feet. Does a great job of attacking the basket, attacking these bigger, slower Georgia Tech players.
Put it in the blender and got a smoothie.
There you go.
Inside they go. Jeter with a strong move. Boy, Marcus Georges-Hunt got into where he wanted to get, just couldn't finish it.
Well, they're attacking the way they want to. They're getting out in transition, but you have to score those plays because if you don't, it allows Pitt to get in transition, and Cameron Wright with a great mid-range jump shot.
It's a 6-0 run, and Cameron Wright blows a kiss to the zoo. Jackets struggle for points. Into the corner. 3-ball by Sampson is good. And that stops the run.
Robert Sampson, a capable three-point shooter, transfer of East Carolina, where he knocked in 30% of his three-point shots. He's a guy that rebounds, that does all the little things for the Jackets, and there he gives them a much-needed lift from three-point range.
We talked about his dad this morning at breakfast.
Yeah.
Ralph Sampson, one of the all-time greats. Georgia Tech's first field goal of the game, and Pitt comes back and answers it. Artis knocked it down. That was a 2.
Jamel Artis coming off a 5-for-6, 12-point game against Florida State, where he went 2 for 2 from long distance. A guy right now that's playing with supreme confidence.
It's almost like he's just finding himself. He's had 8 double-digit scoring games this season, but they've all come in the last 15 games.
Well, this Pitt team, I believe, they're finding themselves as a unit. They finally got everybody back. They're healthy, getting Cameron Wright back, and they're finding themselves and playing well this last out against Florida State early in this contest.
Shot clock down to 3. They turn it over. And the foul on Sampson. Pitt started 1 for 4 from the field. Since then, they've knocked down 3 of their last 4. The Panthers lead by 2. Timeout on the floor. We'll take one as well. Just getting started. Pittsburgh.
Panthers are off to a hot start, and a big reason, Cameron Wright. Jamie Dixon said he was looking for leadership for this young ball club, and he's bringing it to the table here early. Getting out, curling the screen, nice jump shot, then he gets in transition, and he can also play a little defense with the steal. The upperclassmen doing an excellent job of leading this young Pitt team. Pitt started 1 for 4 since they're 3 for 4, and a big reason for that is the use of screens and the defensive ability of the junior Cameron Wright.
Yeah, that's a great point. As a matter of fact, Georgia Tech has only 1 field goal in the game. They got their points at the free throw line. Pitt trying to extend their 2-point lead here early in the game. Young at the line. Rolls that one around. It's a 70% free throw shooter, too. Michael Young, 6'9", 235-pound sophomore. and gets the roll on the second one.
Pitt on this possession drops back to a little 2-3 zone. Gonna put Georgia Tech to the test, see if they can make shots from distance.
Well, they're going to clog the middle a little bit with Uchibo. He comes into the game. He's their tallest player. He disrupted that play, and then Wright makes the basket, and he'll go to the line for one more.
Well, this is a different team when Josh Newkirk is inserted to the lineup. He's fast, he's speedy, does an excellent job of pushing in transition, drawing the defender, and then making the correct pass to Cameron Wright, who again gets out, transition, and finishes with the opportunity for the three-point play.
Jamie Dixon brings in a lot of guys, but the one constant is Wright. He's had Wright in there. He knows he's the guy that will accumulate points, give him a little consistency on the offense.
Well, he has to be the leader. Again, he's an upperclassman, he's a junior, a guy that they were counting on mightily to start this season. Unfortunately, he suffered an injury and missed 7 games, but he's finding his sea legs, getting back into a rhythm, and he's definitely in a rhythm early in this contest.
Chris Bolden in the ball game now for the Yellow Jackets. He can give him some outside shooting. He is that kind of player. Oh, what a great follow inside, but he couldn't get it to go. And again, Georgia Tech goes up and has it ripped away. Charles Mitchell with the rebound and the putback, but a rebound by Uchibo. And that's an offensive foul. That's going to be on Michael Young. Dipped his shoulder.
Well, Tim, that's an easy call. First of all, he was backing the guy down, and that's fine. But when he extended his arm, that's an easy call for the official on the baseline to make. He has to do a better job of getting in a stance and crabbing to the basket, making a quick move to the rim for the score.
Panthers by 5. Georgia Tech wary of the fact you can't let Pittsburgh get too far out in front, especially here at home. Kick it back over. Bolden's got to look beyond the arc. Not even close. And Sampson is fouled immediately.
Georgia Tech is +9 on the backboard this season. Does an excellent job of offensive rebounding. One of the downsides to playing zone is you don't have block-out responsibilities. Again, they're going to force Georgia Tech to make outside shots. They're 25% from 3 for the season, but if you're going to do that, you're going to have to box out and rebound.
We were talking to Chris Bolden before the ball game as Mitchell gets the rebound and puts it back up strong. They're going to need more out of Charles Mitchell.
Charles Mitchell makes a living on the offensive rebound. And again, Jamie Dixon up off the bench and pouring his team to find a body, hit somebody, and rebound the basketball. They do that now. They can get out in transition and continue the rhythm they have offensively.
Artis takes it right at the rack. I was saying we talked to Bolden before the ball game, and he came in as the big three-point shooter, struggled this year, and it seems like his body language anyway, he's lacking confidence right now.
Well, if you're a shooter, you have to have selective amnesia. You have to understand that your next shot can be the one to get you going. You have to take open shots with supreme confidence, and they definitely need Chris Bolden to step up and make shots against this zone.
They're moving Mitchell around now, and he takes it down the lane. Tough shot, gets his own rebound, and Pitt loses it out of bounds. So it'll belong to the Jackets. You're going to hear a round of applause now. Aaron Phillips Wardrow comes in. He's a walk-on. He'll be coming into the ballgame when we come back. Today's coverage of ACC basketball is being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network. We welcome the nearly 1 million men and women of the U.S. Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, and Marines stationed around the globe in 175 countries and on the high seas. We're so proud to have you with us and hope you're enjoying the broadcast. And we certainly appreciate what you do for us every single day. There's a look at number 15, Aaron Phillips Wakwo. This is a walk-on, a fan favorite, played only 5 minutes and scored 4 points in the first 16 games. Came in the other night against Florida State. Scored 5 key buckets or 5 key points in the big run. Ended with 7, way above his average. And the place was going crazy.
Well, he sent the place into a frenzy when he got a fast break dunk. And I think everyone here appreciated that. Appreciated his effort coming in, playing strong, playing tough. Something, again, Jamie Dixon's been imploring his team to do.
Stevens takes a 2-ball that comes up short. And there's Wakwo with the rebound.
And so that's why he's in the game right now, Tim. They were getting beat up on the offensive glass. They inserted Wakwo. Immediately he comes in and pays dividends by cleaning the glass.
And it leads to a bucket at the other end by Artis. Wakwo is here on an academic scholarship. Almost went to Johns Hopkins. Came here to Pitt. Walked on. They've worked with him on his game, and he's now, as you see, an energy to this team, and still wants to be a doctor, and is going to go to med school.
Well, great story. A young man exemplifies hard work and dedication, and when you talk about college sports, he's the epitome of what you want a student athlete to be.
Lost out of bounds by Charles Mitchell. Folks, this is a 7-2 Pitt run over the last 4 minutes.
Georgia Tech just struggling to score the basketball. They're 2 for 13 in this ball game. 4 turnovers. That is not a good remedy if you're trying to win, especially on the road. They have to do a better job of taking care of the basketball and finishing some of these chippies they've had around the basket.
Tech in this zone extended a little bit. Into the corner to Artis. Offensive foul, and I believe that's going to be on the Wakwo. Got a little too energetic. Crowd doesn't like that. So Pitt's lead is 5, and now the Yellow Jackets will try to get into that a little bit.
Well, against the zone, you can't just swing it around the horn. You have to try to attack gaps, draw that second defender to make the right play. You want to attack from the middle and also in the short corners, and Georgia Tech has not been able to penetrate this zone as of yet.
Inside to Cox, kick it back out to Heath. Heath with a tough shot. Even though he was in there close, I don't think that was high percentage, but Newkirk bottoms at the other end. Tickles a twine with a sweet jumper, and it's now 17-10.
Tough shots lead to easy rebounds for Pitt, and it puts them in transition where their guards have done a nice job of pushing and raising for the jump shots.
Turn it over again. This starts the transition. And a smooth James Robinson has it knocked out of bounds.
James Robinson just active in that passing lane, showing his hands, being long and active, gets out, pushes. Nice spin move, wasn't able to finish, but that type of energy, that type of pressure energizes this crowd, energizes this team, and you love it when it comes from the head of the snake.
Jeter takes it up strong and puts it in. Pitt now starting to pull away and exercise their strength. It's an 11-2 run over the last 5 minutes by Pitt.
Georgia Tech has gone small now, trying to get an extra shooter on the court, and Stevens, and here they put him in the middle of that zone, which is the sweet spot. They finally take care of the basketball, and Stevens raises up and knocks in a sweet jump shot.
Stevens is a pretty good shooter if he gets that thing going.
Well, he's a guy that came into the season like gangbusters, 6 for 8 from three-point range against Georgia for 22 points. Since then, now he's on the scouting report, and teams know exactly who he is, and they're playing him for the drive, but a nice job of finding the sweet spot in that zone.
Jeter fires from long range. It's a 50-50 ball, and Pitt comes away with it. Robinson. He reminds me so much of Andre Miller, the way he runs, dribbles, and plays around the basket.
Well, he plays at his pace. He's not the most athletic guy. He's not the fastest guy, but he does a great job of playing at his pace, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
Nice move by Cox to drop step and power move.
You have to attack this zone in the middle and also the short corners. And these last two possessions, Georgia Tech has done a better job of that. Coincidentally, they get 4 points out of those trips.
This is for 2. Newkirk shot is short. No opportunity for the Jackets to run. Pitt gets back quickly.
Well, if you're Pitt right now, you can't become complacent because you have an early lead. You're still building on who you are as a team. You have to do a better job of getting the shots you want every possession and punishing the Jackets for coming out lackluster on the defensive end and not taking care of the basketball. And for Georgia Tech, when you have a guy like Quentin Stevens that can stretch the defense, is going to help whether they're in man or zone.
We talked about his 3 ball. He knocks one down. 21-17. They got to make some stops. Shot clock really hasn't been a factor in this game yet. It's at 15. Robinson takes it with 11 on the shot clock, draws iron. Another rebound, and right away Artis is fouled. Foul will be on Hayward. That'll be his second. 3rd team foul. Right now, the Panthers are starting to roar. They're getting it inside and outside. We'll be back.
The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets have sliced into this early lead on the shoulders of Quentin Stevens. Here you see him flash into the middle of that zone. Nice little pull-up jump shot. And then he can stretch you out from long distance. Steps up, knocks down the 3. The Jackets were down early. They've cut to this lead. It's now 4. And they found an offensive rhythm as they went small with Stevens as their 4-man.
Stevens 2 for 3 from the field. 4 for 4 for Georgia's Hunt at the free throw line, but they've got to find some points somewhere else. They're only shooting 29% from the field.
Well, I think that's the reason why they went small. They put 4 guys on the court that can pass, handle, and shoot. And when you look at Stevens, he's a guy that's statistically their best three-point shooter now with 22 makes on the season. And they need someone to stretch this defense to open up the inside for their post players.
Under 7 minutes we go in the first half. 21-17 Panthers, and Newkirk adds to that. Way too easy, right down Main Street.
With speed kills, and Josh Newkirk has a lot of it. He races down the lane for an uncontested layup, but you have to have better defense, contain the basketball, no blow-bys if you're the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Great job by Cameron Wright to get back defensively. Stevens was left alone for a second. Cox takes it up strong. Too strong. And Mitchell makes a great save on the ball, so they'll get it back to the new 35.
Josh Newkirk has been blessed with supreme speed. He sees he has the mismatch with big Charles Mitchell-Gardner. He doesn't settle. He beats him off the bounce, gets to the basket for an uncontested layup. Great recognition by the young sophomore.
Yellow Jackets don't have to be in a hurry. Here's the foul out front. But they had a new 35. So Marcus Georges Hunt goes to the line. This will be a 1-on-1 situation. And he's 4 for 4 there this afternoon. Gets the roll. He's got a really nice stroke. He's 75% from the line for the year. Closed captioning for ACC basketball brought to you by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's bow time. And another time for Marcus Georges Hunt. Been in double figures 5 of the last 7 games. All his points today have been at the line. And he gets the roll again. 6 for 6 there at the charity stripe.
Well, from talking to Brian Gregory, he spoke about looking for a leader of this ball club. Sure, you have upperclassmen and Charles Mitchell and DeMarco Cox, but they're guys that this is their first season. They're transfers. He's looking at Marcus Georges Hunt as a guy that's been the face of the program to assume that leadership role in action and his voice. And early in this contest, he's done an excellent job of being aggressive on both sides of the ball.
Robinson goes inside to Artis, kicks it outside. Newkirk, here's Artis again. Little 3-man game between those guys. Good rebound inside. Another rebound taken up strong, and now the foul on Cox. Great work inside.
Well, it's a man's world when you step into that paint. Michael Young again facing the challenge from Jamie Dixon. He's playing tough. He's playing strong. He's putting his best foot forward to be physical inside, control the backboard. Now he has a chance to step to the line for 2.
Makes the first. That was a big issue against Clemson last week as well.
Well, they gave up 17 offensive rebounds, and when you look at this Pitt ball club, they're built on toughness, rebounding the basketball, and doing all the little things it takes to win. And I think Jamie Dixon was just challenging his team that we can't be out-rebounded, out-manned, outplayed on the backboard as they were against Clemson. They answered the call against Florida State by winning the battle of the backboard.
Michael Young gives them a little breathing room with the lead, and now Charles Mitchell with a little jump hook. Pulls it back to 4. Georgia Tech has 4 losses in the ACC, but they're all close. They lost by 7 in Notre Dame in double overtime, then lost by 1, then 7 again in overtime, and then lost by 3. Good penetration by Robinson. He can't finish, but he's fouled. Actually called that on Robinson. I thought he called it on Jackson. He called it on Robinson.
Well, it's a nice drive to the lane, but give DeMarco Cox a lot of credit. He comes over from the help side. I thought he went straight up with verticality. But if you're the Yellow Jackets, you're struggling to score the basketball, but here you find yourself, because you've been aggressive and attacked the basket, you're in the bonus situation now with the opportunity to cut into this lead, to cut it to 2 points. And your defense is picking up and guys are flying around being active.
Jackson makes the first. Georgia Tech, as you mentioned early on, has been strong and talented in the front line. What they've been missing is that famous outside shooter, and they just don't have it. Boy, you think of the great outside shooters they've had here. Price, Harper, Scott, Kenny Anderson. They certainly have had them at Tech. 10 of their last 23 points, though, have come from the bench.
When you talk about the bench for Georgia Tech, coming into this season, they expected Todrick Jackson to be a guy that put points on the board. And, he had a huge reputation to score in high school. They'd love for him to find a rhythm and get into better opportunities to score the basketball for him.
Shot clock at 15. Newkirk recognizes it. Kick it out to Robinson. Nice pass. Good give-and-go play there. And another rebound for Charles Mitchell. Second in the ACC in offensive rebounds, working at both ends here in the first half. Nice pass to Charles Mitchell. And we're tied at 25, so that'll get Jamie all fired up. Jamie Dixon talked to his guys. Charles Mitchell goes back to his bench. That was a pretty good little stretch there for the Yellow Jackets in hustle basketball.
Well, it was, and they're doing it with hustle. They're doing it with heart. Here you see them getting them in transition, and they're not scoring these plays, but what they're doing, Tim, they're getting to the foul line. They've gotten themselves into the bonus, and now what does that do? When you make those free throws, the basket becomes a little bigger, and we already know what they do on the offensive side of the backboard, and they're doing an excellent job in this last run of being the aggressor, being the tougher team, doing the little things it's going to take for them to possibly win a game on the road. And I like the intensity. I like the fact they're turning down outside shots to get a piece of the paint and score for themselves and make the right play for a teammate.
See, the UVA has battled its way past Boston College. That's now a final. Duke won. Clemson is up early. Duke beat Louisville. NC State got over Florida State. It's been a wild, topsy-turvy first couple of weeks of the ACC schedule.
That's ACC basketball. Every game, you know you're going to get your opponent's best shot. And as I said at the top, any win on the road, regardless of venue, is a quality win. And you must take care of your home court.
It's been a tough little stretch for Pitt here. They're 1 for their last 7. 1 field goal in the last 4.5 minutes, as you've been alluding to. Shot clock now down to 7. Wright will fire. This should be a 2-ball, and draws iron. Ball still loose, still battle. Great job to get it back to Robinson. Get it back again. Newkirk will fire for 3. And the foul underneath, and the foul, I believe, will be called on Luther. And that's the first on Luther, but what a job working on the boards by Luther. What a gorgeous day in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Inside the Pitt, we're tied at 25.
Georgia Tech and Pitt are 2 programs built on toughness and rebounding, and it is an absolute war every time that ball hits the rim. And Here you see on this possession, guys flying around, active to the basketball, and just battling inside, trying to secure the possession. And when you talk about Georgia Tech, they fought themselves back into this basketball game by being aggressive and putting themselves to the foul line where they have converted at a high rate. This is a ball game where they've struggled to score, but because they've been aggressive, they have the opportunity to now take the lead in this ball game because they've been the aggressor, because they've gotten to the foul line, and Sampson steps up for the one-on-one.
Now 10 of 11 from the free throw line has kept him in. Great point, Jason. Georgia Tech has out-rebounded Pitt throughout this game, offensively, defensively, now total 17-13.
Well, when you labor to score the basketball, you have to find ways. And one, as we said at the top, was to get out in transition. Another is to finish those opportunities when you get to the charity stripe. And Georgia Tech is doing that at a high rate right now.
It's an 8-0 run by the Yellow Jackets, and this is just the way the Yellow Jackets play. They haven't had the great shooters, and they haven't had the great offense all year, but they play tenacious defense. They work the boards, and they stay in it on the line. Now it seems as if Pitt is a little bit out of sync.
Well, out of the timeout, Brian Gregory has gone into his zone defense. And again, there's no block-out responsibility, so you have to find someone, and they're able to secure the second rebound. Now they have to push it. Now they have to get in transition. Don't allow this Pitt defense to get set.
Back to Marcus Georges-Hunt, and they'll reset. So good job by Pitt defensively. And this will be a pass into Cox, and he's fouled underneath. The foul, I believe, is going to be on Young, isn't it?
I believe so, and that's a nice play call for Georgia Tech. They went to their horns look. He came off the strong side of Cox. That's the guy he wants to roll to the basket. He allows Sampson, who's the more skilled player, to be the facilitator. He throws it for the high-low, and now Cox steps in the line in the double bonus for 2 shots.
That's 2 fouls on Michael Young as Cox makes the first one. Hey, don't forget, coming up on the Hardy's halftime report, we've got analysis from Jason and highlights, and we'll have the ACC scoreboard for you as a wild and wonderfully unpredictable season in the Atlantic Coast Conference continues. Cox is only a 48% free throw shooter, but this looks like he'll get another one. Was somebody in the lane too early? Yeah, it was a Yellow Jacket.
I believe Sampson jumped in the lane too early, and if you're Georgia Tech or Pitt, both teams, you can't afford to leave points on the board. You need every opportunity you get when it's a free opportunity.
.240 remaining in the first half. And the Zoos just getting warmed up. Probably hear them behind us. Meanwhile, Pitt 0 for its last 9 from the field. A bad 4-minute run for the Panthers.
With both teams struggling mightily from long distance. Pitt, early in the ball game, got into the gaps, made the right pass, and were able to finish shots around the basket, and that's exactly what they do in that possession.
Young with a wide-open jumper. That was 2, Jason.
They attacked the gap. Cameron Wright did, and he found Young in the short corner. Again, you have to attack the middle of the floor, the free throw line area, and the short corners where Michael Young, a capable jump shooter from that distance.
Under 2 minutes to play in the first half. Shot clock is down to 10. Jackets have to go. Alley-oop. Sampson banks it in.
Nice spawn by Josh Heath, but there was no ball pressure on him. He was able to see over the zone, and Sampson is long and pretty athletic, and a nice pass, but more importantly, a nice catch and finish inside by Robert Sampson.
Gives the Yellow Jackets the lead again. Luther. To Wright. And that's where the points are.
Nice pass, nice inside-out action. We've seen Michael Young score on the interior. We've seen him knock down jump shots. Now we see him as a facilitator making the correct pass to a wide-open Cameron Wright.
Wright with 10 points. Brian Gregory was trying to get the attention of Heath, his point guard, to call timeout, and he didn't see him. Here's what you're talking about.
Well, there was no ball pressure on Josh Heath. He's able to see over that zone, and he found Sampson. Here you see Young inside making a strong move, drawing the defense to him, and he finds his open teammate Cameron Wright there for a nice mid-range jump shot. Neither team is doing a good job of knocking down shots from distance, but the interior and mid-range those are shots they have to be able to knock down with some consistency.
Coming up Thursday night, some of you will see NC State. And they'll be taking on the Miami Hurricanes, coached by Jim Larinaga, a team that's already beaten Duke at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Others of you will see Georgia Tech as they travel to Charlottesville to face Justin Anderson and the Virginia Cavaliers. More information, you can watch the ACC Network games on television and online on the official ACC mobile app or at theacc.com. There's Miami's main man. Rodriguez is having a terrific season.
Well, he may be the most confident player in the ACC. I mean, you have that from the guard position with the guys upperclassmen able to go off the bounce as well as stretch the defense from long range. You have a special player. Jim Larinaga is giving him free reign to be exactly who he is for the Hurricanes.
See all those steals that he has as well. Cox tries to bank in and back in, but he traveled, picked up the basketball, shuffled his feet. That's 7 turnovers for the Yellow Jackets. Brian Gregory's frustrated. Trying to make his point to Tim Nestor. This officiating crew is terrific. Tim Nestor, Ray Perone. They've been doing this a long time now, joined today by Tony Chiazza. Zoo's getting a little grumpy. Play the inside-out game again. Young backs in, picks up his dribble. Stepped on the line, I believe. No, he was fouled. Foul's going to be on Cox. And that's 2 on Cox.
Well, that's just hand-to-hand combat inside when you talk about Michael Young and Big DeMarco Cox. Guys that are just banging against one another, trying to find that angle to get to the basket. Michael Young has the quickness. He has the quick feet. Did an excellent job on that possession of turning with a big elbow, creating the angle for himself.
So, Jason, we've got 38 seconds remaining in the first half. Very important here now for Georgia Tech. They battled back. They tied the game. They need to stay in it here as they go to halftime. Young makes the first freebie. His nickname is Forever, and Young makes them both.
Right now, if you're Georgia Tech, with only a 3-second differential in the shot and game clock, you want to hold this thing for one shot. You don't want to allow Pitt to get out in transition to finish this half with any momentum. So you have to do an excellent job of running your offense, being aggressive, but try to use as much clock as possible.
Charles Mitchell, they double down on him, and he's in trouble. Kicks it back out. Jorgensen for 3. And a great follow by Sampson. Or correction, Stevens. Final 5 seconds of the first half. Robinson, 50-50 ball. Still loose. And that'll end the half. It wasn't one of those games that you just say both teams are just sizzling and smooth, but it was competitive and it was fun to watch.
Well, it's fun to watch because you have two teams fighting, clawing, giving their all in this basketball game to try to get to the winner's circle. In this last possession, Charles Mitchell does an excellent job being calm, being confident, being composed in that trap, finds an open man who misses the 3, but then you have Stevens flying in for the offensive rebound.
Quentin Stevens puts it away to tie the score. We're at halftime, and we'll have our Hardy's halftime right after this.
There's only one chicken sandwich this exciting.
Come on, is that all you got?
Wendy's Asiago Ranch Chicken Club.
Welcome into the Wendy's Halftime Report. I'm Kerry Chow. Coming up, we'll get you updated with everything that's going on today and join the ESPN Buzzer Beater Network in progress. Buzzer Beater features unlimited live cut-ins, highlights, and analysis from the biggest matchups throughout college hoops. But first, let's take a look at today's Wendy's Wooden Award Watch. And it's Arkansas forward Bobby Portis. He's averaging 18 points per game on 58% shooting from the field. He's also averaging 8 rebounds per game. The 6'11 sophomore is coming off back-to-back double-doubles. Razorbacks take on Ole Miss tonight on ESPNU at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. All right, as promised, we'll get you up to date with everything that's going on today as we join the Buzzer Beater Network in progress. Just a reminder that Buzzer Beater is available through participating TV providers and live on Watch ESPN. Enjoy.
I was just giving you pushback because you said they're a Final Four potential but not championship. That's all. We'll revisit this just like you were a standout. We'll revisit that discussion too soon. Meanwhile, 1-point lead for K-State. Baylor with the ball. 2 minutes, 40 seconds to go.
Cherry. Good rebound. And a great job by Thomas Gibson affecting the shot. Cherry had the game winner against Iowa State during midweek.
Well, Marcus Foster laying down here, sitting in front of us, checking back into the game. What a great job this group on the floor did for the Wildcats.
Nino Williams, what a half. 18 for the senior from Leavenworth. 2 off a career high. To shoot. Now Edwards is on Kenny Cherry. They get Iwandu back on it.
Yeah, that's Kansas State's ball. It absolutely is. Outstanding defense that time by Nigel Johnson.
But for whatever reason, Royce O'Neal has walked the tightrope of the midcourt area with the dribble 2 straight possessions. K-State, it's his last 4 shots.
Well, it's under 2 minutes. They're going to review this. If there's a question as to whether it ricocheted off of 2 players, the officials can review it. But I think they're going to see that they got it exactly right. Nigel Johnson poked that ball loose. Royce lost control of it, and I think that ball was off of Royce O'Neal. It's going to be hard to see from this angle whether the ball made contact or not. And remember, it was called Kansas State's ball, so there has to be evidence to overturn it. If it's in doubt, it stays with Kansas State, but I don't think it's in doubt.
It's that hand right there, the off hand.
I don't know.
Pretty close. I'm not sure.
Seeing it live, I thought it was off Royce. Seeing it in slow motion, I don't know that it was. It kind of went right in between his hip and his arm, and I can't tell.
They're going to keep it. They didn't take that long a look. They're going to confirm this and give K-State the ball. And if I'm not wrong here now, Reed, K-State has never had a 2-possession lead in this game. They could have with Justin Edwards missing 2 free throws. They score here, it'll be their first 2-possession lead of the entire afternoon.
Well, it might be a good idea to use Marcus Foster as some sort of decoy, but I would make sure that Nino Williams touches the ball in this possession.
Foul trouble both ways, but K-State's got the biggest issues.
Marcus Foster down there running the baseline.
Baylor finds him, still 12 to shoot. Nino Williams against Rico Gathers. Great shot by the big junior to stop Nino Williams.
Boy, if you're Baylor, you got to put that ball in Torian Prince's hands.
Foster on Cherry, dangerous for K-State. To tie it. K-State's got it. Nino Williams with it back. As K-State now with possession and the ball, 12-second differential.
Second great defensive play by Nigel Johnson.
Bruce Weber has 2 timeouts. You see the differential at 12 seconds. Weber's not going to call timeout, it appears. Now he wants timeout, but just 4 seconds on the shot clock. It's 16.8 on the game clock.
If you're in a situation where you're going to end up being forced to take a bad shot, better to call a timeout.
All right, so we'll come back to that game. Baylor not fouling, going to play D. Meanwhile, Kentucky and Alabama, final seconds. 1-1 is front end is made. How about Kentucky? Alabama looked good, energetic. Crowd was into it right off the tip. But Kentucky up 17 a football score.
Well, they've already made 40% of their threes. They're dominating the glass.
They really are.
And I know they've only blocked 2 shots, but Doug, come on. I mean, they get a hand up at about 12 feet, and it's going to affect your shooting.
It's altering shots. And also if a guard drives and doesn't even look at the rim and kicks it out, that's an altered shot too.
Let me put it this way. If I give you the ball and you're driving to the rim against Kentucky, you're not thinking rim. You're thinking, where's Cauley Stein? Where's Marcus Lee? Where's Town? Your concentration will never be exactly what.
Or where can I find an avenue to bounce past kick out?
Yeah.
I'm not even looking at the rim. That's the point.
Yeah, or how much time in the first half so I can get into the locker room where it's safe.
Okay, so let's go back to Manhattan. Baylor led by as many as 14 points in this game. Trails by 3. Shot clock, game clock differential of 12.8 seconds. Baylor decided not to foul with about 35 to go and extend the game. Play D, keep it 1 possession. Bruce Weber just called timeout. Wildcats have the ball. They're obviously going to go for a quick look with only 4 seconds to go in the shot clock. Defense, obviously, if Baylor, let's say you secure a rebound and it's a 3-point game, do you call timeout or do you just go and try to get a 3 in transition?
Kansas State is a good defensive team, and I'm sure that Bruce Weber talked about their defensive strategy, but I still prefer to play against an unsettled team. More likely that Kansas State would make a defensive mistake if there was not a timeout. Also, can I share my admiration for the bounce back of Kansas State? They have a chance to hold that 4-1.
Hold that a second. Final seconds, maybe a buzzer beater to close the first half in Tuscaloosa.
Nice ball fake and draws the foul on Harrison. They had a foul to give, so wise move by Harrison. It leaves 6.8 to go in the first half, and that's his first personal foul. That's Aaron Harrison as Dakari Johnson comes in for Towns. Tarrant inbounding. 4 seconds to go. Tarrant out top. And they turn it over. Harrison got to look at it, albeit uncontested. And Kentucky once again with their stifling, impenetrable defense. The 3rd straight time they've held their opponent.
All right, Kentucky flexing its muscles up comfortably at half. Meanwhile, final seconds here in Manhattan.
Just 4 to shoot. Offensive rebound, K-State. And they foul Nigel Johnson. And there's your man who can close this out, perhaps, if he hits 2 free throws.
He has been the difference. He has made plays that will go under the radar. This one is up on the top of the radar, and what a huge offensive rebound by Nigel Johnson. But that is about his 4th or 5th game-changing play he's made in the last 120 seconds.
He has only shot 1 free throw in the last 4 games. And he needs this one to make it 4 points. Again, it would be K-State's first 2-possession lead of the game if he can make it.
Now, Bruce Weber's making sure his guys know at the clock, if Baylor gets the ball, it's going to be under 10 seconds, and they've got to know whether they're fouling or not fouling. Now you don't foul. All the assistants standing up, and look at them spreading their arms out. All of them saying, don't foul, look at the clock, we're up 4.
4-point lead, K-State at 10.8. Again, their first 2-possession lead of the game comes at the end.
These are fans that remember the end of that Texas Southern game. They're not taking anything for granted.
Cherry, contact and a basket. Kenny Cherry will not let Baylor go down easily. An and one opportunity.
Well, I don't know where his heels were, but he looked like he was standing awful still. No, he moved to the side. That's exactly right. That is exactly right.
Fouls.
Yeah, you see him, he's outside. He takes another step, and he's standing on the secondary defender arc, so that's a good call. Absolutely the right call.
And still 5.4.
Well, if you're Kenny Cherry, do you contemplate missing this free throw and getting the ball. I think you go ahead and make it, and then you foul. Ideally, you can foul before Kansas State gets the ball inbound, so you still have the full 5 seconds.
And Reed, I don't want to bring up bad news for K-State fans, but they could not close out Texas Southern. They had a 6-point lead at less than 4 seconds and couldn't get the ball inbound. So Cherry needs to make this. He's brilliant at the line. Last year he led the Big 12 in foul line shooting. Here last year he was 13 of 14.
In this situation, a lot of times you say, well, try to get the steal and then foul. And I don't think that's the highest percentage play, because so often you see someone gamble for the steal and you miss it, and then suddenly the ball dribbles out, you make 2 passes, and the time's gone.
All right, so Tim, I think Baylor should have gone for the intentional miss. I just do, given the situation, you can't advance it on a timeout in the like you can in the NBA, but you can't. It's not like this version's wrong. This approach is wrong.
One thing that you can try to do is foul before the ball comes in and target the guy that is the weakest free throw shooter. That way, it's probably going to come down to 5 seconds. You advance the ball with the pass.
We hope you enjoyed the fast action coverage from ESPN's Buzzer Beater Network. We'll continue to provide this service Wednesday nights and all day Saturdays throughout the college basketball season. That's going to do it for the Wendy's Halftime Report. I'm Kerry Chow. Enjoy the second half.
ACC basketball is being brought to you by Haviland, official motor oil of the ACC. By Nissan. By Ruby Tuesday, official corporate champion of the ACC. And by Gatorade, official corporate partner of the ACC.
What a great Hall of Fame they have here at the Peterson Events Center at the University of Pittsburgh. Folks, I know they're new to the Atlantic Coast Conference. Get out your Google, start looking up their Hall of Fame. They've had some really good players here, and they are witnessed hanging from the banners here. Look at the leading scorers in that first half. You talked about Sampson and Stevens, their input combined for 14 points, and Wright was the #1 scoring point that they went to early. Georgia Tech has it to start the second half. Final 20 in Pittsburgh. Marcus Georges-Hunt takes it back to the top.
Pitt starts this second half in man-to-man defense. Going to have a conscious effort of defending without fouling and rebounding the basketball.
Charles
the first
Smith.
possession, you got big Charles Mitchell getting 2 offensive rebounds.
Charles Mitchell playing big under the basket. I said Charles Smith because we were just talking about Charles Smith. Charles Mitchell, the transfer from Maryland. Grandma was ill and he came down to Atlanta. Joined this Georgia Tech basketball team, and he's had an impact. Looks like he's trimmed down and manned up. I mean, he's cut, he's big.
Well, he's done an excellent job of trimming his body down. And in the game of basketball, you only need one skill. Charles Mitchell's skill is rebounding the basketball, and he's bringing that intangible to this Georgia Tech ball club.
Wright fires from the top of the key and buries a 3-ball with 2 on the shot clock.
And he tops that off by blowing another kiss to the zoo.
Georgia Tech took the early lead here when this ball game started, and a good run by Pitt gave them the largest lead of the game was 7. And Georgia Tech tied it at half, but right now Pitt off to a good start here in the second half.
Well, we knew this was going to be a physical ball game. It was in the first half, and from the opening tip here in the second half, we've seen just the same. Charles Mitchell doing an excellent job of cleaning the backboard, fighting inside for the rebounds, 2 offensive rebounds before he powers it up for the score inside.
Meanwhile, DeMarco Cox picks up his 3rd personal foul. That's big for the Yellow Jackets. So he goes out of the ball game.
Well, that's a huge foul because he brings that physicality to the interior, but with the play of Sampson in the first half, it's not going to be that much of a drop-off as Josh Heath does an excellent job being active with his hands, getting the steal and getting the Jackets out in transition.
No call on the drive. Gregory was furious. Brian Gregory's still upset.
Well, it's a nice steal by Heath. Georges-Hunt does a good job powering it to the basket.
A lot of contact.
He drew some contact, but the officials are allowing these guys to play when it's confrontations at the rim.
Do you like it if they let you play when you're going?
As long as you know. As long as the officials set the tone, they're going to call it the same way on both sides of the ball. I'm fine with it. I'd much rather be physical as Artis knocks down yet another 3-pointer.
And gets the zoo hopping again. Six nothing run. 3-ball, big. And here's the foul. Foul is on Robinson. That's his 2nd personal.
Excellent move by Georges-Hunt. Drove Robinson to the middle, dropped it behind his back, and he's attacking the basket, being the slasher that he is. Again, putting the onus on the officials because he's the aggressor. Steps to the line, knocks down the free throw.
Marcus Georges-Hunt has been strong at the line. All 7 for 7, all his 7 points.
And when you're coming off a ball game where you were 0 for 6 against Notre Dame, it's great to be aggressive, to get to the foul line, to get some easy baskets early. So that allows you to have that confidence as the game goes on to take outside shots.
Yellow Jackets pulled back within 2. They extend their zone. Looks almost like a matchup zone. Now they pump into the extension. Robinson kicks it back. Jones takes it at the rack. And it's taken away by the Yellow Jackets.
Give it up to get it back.
And he takes it at the rack and scores. We're tied at 37.
Nice job by Georges-Hunt giving that ball up for Josh Heath to attack the basket and finish. But Georgia Tech is doing it defensively right here. This 2-3 zone with the 2 guards up front, bumping and pushing guys off, and they have a long back line. They're doing an excellent job in that zone of finding open areas, bumping off the shooters.
Artis' shot was long. Then there was a lot of contact under the basket and the foul.
Georges-Hunt busts out of that break, pushes it out to Josh Heath, who knows what to do with it. Attacks the basket with a nice finish.
Georgia's Hunt picks up the personal there. This is Artis to the basket. And he'll go to the line for one more.
But that was a defensive breakdown for Georgia Tech. Pitt did a nice job of running a misdirection. And for the Georgia Tech defense, they had a miscommunication. They were supposed to switch that screen. They didn't found Artis. He attacked the basket over the smaller Corey Hayward.
Jamel Artis, 8 double-digit games rather, this season. They've come in the last 12 games. He picks up his play and makes the free throw to convert the three-point play.
Well, he's a capable player. You look at him, he's long, he's athletic, he's a guy that's skilled, that can step out and make shots. And they need his production, but more importantly, they need him to be consistent with that production on a night-in, night-out basis.
Aaron Phillips Wonkwo comes back into the ball game. Oh, nice spin move. Got it halfway down, and Sampson couldn't get it to drop all the way. And this is a foul called on Charles Mitchell. Correction, that'll be on Hayward. That's his second. So Hayward goes out. Sampson comes back into the ball game. Robinson's got a high basketball IQ. He's always checking that shot clock and trying to get his guys to move. Calls out the play. They get it back to Wonkwo.
Charge.
And that was an offensive charge. So Wonkwo's bucket will not count. 15:55 to play in the ball game. Pitt 40, Georgia Tech 37. Here we go.
ACC mobile app. It's free and packed with even more features. Standings and stats, headlines, video, and live games. All 15 schools. Update your app or download it today on your iPhone, iPad, or
Welcome back inside. Pitt leads 40-37. It has not been one of those games that you said, man, this is just perfectly played. But Georgia Tech hanging around. Marcus Georges-Hunt has been strong at the free throw line. That's where all of his points have come from. And Sampson came in and gave him a spark.
Well, he has. When you talk about Georgia's Hunt, he's finding different ways to influence this ball game. He's gotten a steal, which led to a transition layup, and then this last possession, he stepped in and took a nice charge. So he's putting his imprint on his game in a variety of ways.
They double down on Cox. Brings it back out. Shot clock at 15. Nice give and go to Stevenson, but he walked.
Well, Pitt came out of that timeout with a little more energy on the defensive end, doing an excellent job of doubling the post and then scrambling out of rotation to force Georgia Tech into a turnover.
That's their first turnover of the second half, so they've done a much better job. That's their 8th of the game. That was killing them early on. Stop, pop, can't get the roll. Rebound, the Yellow Jackets. Jorgensen takes it down the lane, drops it off. The bucket counts, and Cox will go to the line for one more.
Well, Jamie Dixon can't be happy because that's an extremely poor ball screen defense. Here you see Young does not show on this ball screen. It allows the guard, Jorgensen, of Georgia Tech to get down the lane, and he does an excellent job of finding the open man, forcing Cox's defender to step up the lane to take him. It creates an easy basket, easy lane to the basket for DeMarco Cox.
That foul was on Phillips Wanko. That's his second. James Robinson goes out of the ball game. Newkirk comes back in. Tied at 40. Boy, that was nicely done. Little pop out, turnaround jumper by Young, and they retake the lead.
A nice job by Young finding the sweet spot against that zone. They're doing the job on him on the interior, doubling him and forcing him to dribble away from the basket. So it's up to him to find areas where he's capable of scoring the basketball. Did a nice job that possession.
You know, it's amazing to me the way Georgia Tech just hangs around in these ball games. Nice pass inside of Georgia's Hunt. Looking at the back door and one.
Robert Sampson is having himself a ball game, ladies and gentlemen. Shown he can score in here. Again, he's the facilitator. He sees Georgia's Hunt at 6'5", 215 pounds, has the smaller point guard and Josh Newkirk on him. Give Georgia's Hunt the credit for recognizing the mismatch, but Sampson is a big guy, understanding of where to throw that basketball, where only his teammate could catch it, handle it, and able to finish for the three-point play.
Sampson goes out of the ball game. Tadrick Jackson comes back in. We've had 8 ties and 6 lead changes in this ball game. Once again, they extend the zone, just a pesky little defense. Now they settle back in. Newkirk. Momentum has changed a little bit. Cox starting to have his way down low. They got a break there when the ball went to Hayward. Georgia Tech a little bit stagnant. Jorgensen with 7 on the shot clock. Little fadeaway. Bring it back out. 2 on the shot clock. That's going to count. That's going to count. Jamie Dixon doesn't like it. He thought it was a shot clock violation. That's a 3-ball. Oh, was it close? Jamie Dixon still furious.
Well, I'm not sure, but Georgia Tech did an excellent job of just flying around and being active. Quentin Stevens again. And
Wright is fouled, going up for the dunk. And for Cox, he's in some serious trouble with 4 personals. Watch the clock in the bottom right, and watch the ball.
Quentin Stevens on the rebound had no idea how much time was on the clock, and from that angle, I do not believe he got that shot off in time.
Yeah, I don't think he did either, but it was close. And look at Jamie Dixon. Wright Wright makes his first. Take another look at it. Zero, ball still in his hand. Jamie Dixon's got a case.
That's not even close. Ball was still in his hand when the shot clock hit 0.
Wright has another one coming as Tim Nestor explains it to Jamie Dixon, and he misses the second. Still battling. Tie up and the possession arrow belongs to Pitt.
If you're Brian Gregory, you cannot like that. Free throw box out. Those are things that don't show up in this stat sheet, but when coaches watch film, those are things they pay attention to. You have opportunity to clean up the shot on that rebound, you have to do it.
0 on the shot clock, ball still in his hand. Bang, bang play.
Well, if you want to be good, you have to sometimes be lucky, and Georgia Tech can count themselves as lucky on that possession.
So it's a new 35 for the Panthers. Newkirk with a backdoor pass. It's picked off by Hayward. Inside to Mitchell. They double him right away.
Good pass.
Nice pass, and Hayward missed the layup.
Good pass.
Artis.
Nice job by Jones, turning down the jump shot, attacking the paint, finding an open teammate for the 2.
Wow. Hayward missed the snowbird at one end, and Pitt makes him pay at the other. Stevens again from beyond the arc.
Well, again, what Georgia Tech is doing right now, they've gone small. They're bringing Charles Mitchell up to set the ball screen and running their roll and replace action with Stevens as their shooter being the replace guy, and doing that, it puts the onus on his man to whether guard the basket or follow him out well beyond the arc. He didn't do it. He gets an open 3.
Answer at the other end. Nicely done as Jones takes it at the rack with a floater. Georgia Tech 4 for 7 beyond the arc, and it's keeping them in this game.
And that's a plus for the Jackets. When you look at them coming into this ball game, shooting 25% from 3, having a guy like Stevens step up and make shots is only a plus for the Jackets.
Shot clock is now 10. Heath throws it away. 10:45 to play. How about this? Easy snowbird. Pitt comes the other way, and bang, it's a 2-point game. watching the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports. It's also streaming live now on the ACC.com and on the official ACC mobile app. Dialing long distance.
Well, the three-point shot is the great equalizer in basketball, and the Jackets have made 4 on the day, and none more important than Quentin Stevens stepping up, knocking in 2. The last one putting the Jackets ahead by 2.
How about the bench points? Big today for the Yellow Jackets.
22-6, and a big part of that is Quentin Stevens and also Sampson inside. Guys that have come off the bench and brought a lot of energy, a lot of intensity on both sides of the basketball, and timely baskets by each.
Final 10:40 of this ball game. Yellow Jackets lead by 2. Panthers trying to tie or take the lead here. Turnover and lost out of bounds by Georgia Tech.
Dangerous, dangerous pass by Jamil Artis. Give Jackson a lot of credit of fighting around that screen and having a hand in the passing lane. But if you're Artis, if your teammate isn't open, you have to hold that basketball and throw it away to where only he can attain it.
Newkirk with a tough shot, an air ball, and that is last touched by Artis. And so it'll belong to the Jackets.
Well, that's not the shot you want if you're Jamie Dixon. Josh Newkirk is a guy that is a slasher, does an excellent job using his speed to get to the basket, but he was well defended on that play. They have to get shots each possession, but more importantly, get good shots each possession.
Georgia Tech keeping the game close again. They do it seemingly every ACC game. Looking for their first win of the year, though, and they turn it over here. Robinson pushes it. Little spin move. How sweet was that? But he couldn't finish it. Every time Mitchell touches it, they double down on it. Stevens with a jumper. Marcus Georges-Hunt was wide open in the corner and asking why he didn't throw it to him.
Yeah, I thought he should have made one more pass. He's a guy that's made shots, but in that possession, I thought he should have touched it, swung it right over to Georges-Hunt, who had a better shot.
Back in for Young, and he's fouled by Mitchell. Mitchell's second personal.
Well, game recognized game, and Mr. Young is looking very familiar in there. Does an excellent job of being patient inside, working his man down. Once he felt he got Charles Mitchell up, he used the rim as a teammate to protect the ball, able to get to the line for a possible three-point play.
And that obviously is why they called the foul. Good call, got him up in the air. So Young at the line. Got 2 Yellow Jackets going after the rebound. Turn it over again. That was a 3-foot pass and they turned it over.
Well, you can't have empty possessions like that if you're Georgia Tech. And Sampson, who I applauded for being a nice facilitator on different possessions, he didn't have the patience to just make the correct pass, thus leading to a turnover.
3 turnovers in the last 4 possessions for the Yellow Jackets, and they've got to make a stop now. Tied at 49. Shot clock at 7 as you hear the zoo counted out. Artis' shot is long. And last touch by the Yellow Jackets. Well, let's take a look at the nation's top 25. It's brought to you by Honda Dealers of the Carolinas.
Well, you had all these top teams in action. The Blue Devils get a huge win on the road against Louisville. North Carolina plays a little later. Virginia does the job against BC, and Notre Dame with the comeback win today.
Listening to a radio show the other day, and they said, look at all the ACC teams in the top 25, and they named Maryland.
It's still hard to believe the Terps aren't in the ACC.
Working it around the perimeter. Now they go to work with Artis, and he pulls up to the jumper and bang!
Jamil Artis has done it in a variety of ways there. He catches it off the block, faces you up, and we know he has that sweet stroke, doing a nice job of scoring the basketball for the Pitt Panthers.
6-0 run for Pitt. Taken away by the Panthers again, and Wright makes it an 8-0 run. Timeout, Georgia Tech. Fans on their feet at the Peak.
But Cameron Wright giving them reason to get on their feet. Jumps in the passing lane, gets his hand on the ball, gets out in transition. But before that, you have Jamel Artis catching you, facing you up, jabbing you for the jump shot. And then Cameron Wright in the passing lane, showing his leadership for the 2.
Bring you up to speed on what's been happening today. The Ruby Tuesday game menu in the ACC shows us that Duke had an easy time with Louisville. NC State rolled over the Seminoles, and Notre Dame came back to beat Miami 75-70. Cavaliers for Virginia were in a dogfight too, Jason, but they pulled away.
Well, the Cavaliers are stalwarts on the defensive end, lead the nation in scoring defense. And
Clemson up big on Syracuse. Syracuse could be going down for its first ACC loss of the year.
Well, it's a huge loss losing Chris McCullough with a torn ACL for the season, but going on the road to Clemson, you know they're going to play strong inside, and Jerron Blasingame is having a breakout season for the Tigers.
All right, this has been a critical run here for Pittsburgh. Cox just checked back in for Georgia Tech with 4 personal fouls and 7.5 to play, but it's almost needed, right? You've got to do it.
Well, you have to do it. You have to put him in there and put the onus on him to be able to play without fouling. And the Jackets, it's now or never for them to make a run.
Final 7.5 minutes here at Pittsburgh. Let's take a look at our Haviland defensive shield, because that's going to be critical down the stretch and has been critical.
Well, rebounding, we know from both of these ball clubs, is something that's very important. Georgia Tech comes into this game with a +9 advantage. Pitt, on the other hand, in league play is -6 on the backboard, but they're battling pretty evenly in this contest, with Georgia Tech holding the 7 rebound advantage. But down the stretch, it's about taking care of the basketball, getting shots each possession, and having no breakdowns on the defensive end.
Tough basket, can't get it to go. Great follow inside by Sampson. For all of you stations along the ACC network, a reminder that the next break that will be taken will be a 2-minute local. As we approach the 7-minute mark in this game here at the Pitt.
Well, throughout this ball game, every time Pitt has made a run, it's been Robert Sampson as the guy that stepped up for the Jackets, who put a stop to that run with a timely basket. He does the same thing that last possession with a key tip-in.
Well, since Stevens' last 3-point field goal, Georgia Tech was 0 for 1 with 4 turnovers. So they needed that last bucket, and now they get a rebound and start the break. George's Hunt right to the basket, reverse layup, and here we go. Tied at 53.
Well, that's what you have to do if you're Georgia Tech. You don't want to labor in the half court against a set defense. George's Hunt runs his wing, attacks the basket, finishes with a strong 2 above the rim.
George's Hunt now has 13 points. He averages 13, right at his average.
But Georgia Tech getting out in transition, a big reason they're controlling the backboard. George's Hunt, when he gets in transition as a slasher, he knows what to do. He doesn't settle, steps through with a nice finish for the 2.
That'll drive Jamie Dixon crazy when they beat his team down to the other end. Timeout Pittsburgh with 6:24 to go. So the timeouts that have been taken, 22 left on the shot clock, tied at 53, 6:24 remaining in the ball game. Closed captioning for ACC basketball brought to you by Bojangles. Meanwhile, next Thursday, don't forget we've got a doubleheader for you. NC State will be taking on the Miami Hurricanes. Then others of you will see Georgia Tech travel to Charlottesville, take on Justin Anderson and the Cavaliers of Virginia. And have the Wahoos been Cavalier this year? For more information on how you can watch the ACC network games on TV, just go to the official ACC mobile app or theacc.com.
Malcolm Brogdon, starting shooting guard for the Wahoos, a guy who is the consummate leader. He does a little bit of everything for that basketball team. He's scoring. Every average has gone up from last season to now, and he's a guy that's a calming force for UVA, and you couple that with the emergence of Justin Anderson. This is a very good UVA basketball team.
Artis takes it in, scores, he's fouled, and he'll go to the line for one more.
Well, I said you can't have defensive breakdowns down the stretch if you're trying to win a basketball game. And Georgia Tech had just that nice patience by the point guard and Robinson, being patient, taking the ball out of bounds, finding the open man and Artis, who steps to the line, the opportunity for the 3-point play.
Foul is on George's Hunt. And Artis at the line, his first trip there today. And he converts the 3-point play.
Artis has been excellent all game long, scoring the basketball, timely baskets, knocking down jump shots, and that was a very important bucket for the Panthers. The possession before, they couldn't get the ball in bounds. That possession, they got a bucket, but Georgia Tech answers with a nice pass by Georgeson inside to our man Robert Sampson, who is having an excellent day off the bench himself.
Sampson is really having a good ball game. 6'8", 224-pounder, redshirt senior from Atlanta, Georgia, son of Ralph Sampson, and he's been stellar. 11 points here today.
Well, that was a nice play, screening the zone, freeing up Sampson along the baseline, but when you have those type opportunities, you have to make the correct pass, and Georgeson did just that.
Cox with his 4 fouls, trying to stay out of foul trouble the rest of the way, trying to avoid being DQ'd with the rebound. And the pass thrown away by Sampson. Frustration by Brian Gregory.
Well, Tim, they had exactly what they wanted. They ran the horn set again. They rolled Cox to the basket, threw it to Sampson, who's the better passer as a facilitator, but the pass was there. He was just a little anxious to get it there and overthrew Cox rolling to the basket.
Well, nice entry pass. Well defended, right with a jumper. Bang! Pittsburgh wants a timeout. Tony Chiazza asked for Jamie Dixon, what are you doing? Jamie Dixon was screaming. He wanted a timeout, wanted a 30. But Georgia Tech had the ball and was already starting the transition.
Yeah, I think both coaches are unhappy right now. Jamie Dixon wanted that timeout and didn't get it. Then Brian Gregory sees his team in a semi-transition break after that made basket, and he's not happy about that. And I think the fuss right now is these guys shouldn't be allowed to substitute because there shouldn't have been a stoppage of play.
That's a good point there. If you're just joining us, Wright has 18 points. Artis has 17. Both career highs are 20, so they're closing in on that. Pitt has the 3-point lead, and we've got 5 minutes to play in this ball game. Marcus Georges-Hunt drops it off, and that'll be an offensive foul. Should have taken it right at the rack.
Well, what he should have done is pulled up, come to a jump stop. Anytime you leave your feet and make a pass, it allows the defense to slide under you. Does a nice job of probing, attacking the lane, but right here, he needs to stop, pull up for that easy jump shot, or stop and drop it off to the big man inside. Once you leave your feet as a passer, you give the defense that opportunity to slide in and take the charge, and Pitt did an excellent job of doing just that.
We'll remind all you stations along the ACC network, we'll get to that 2-minute local break, the very next one we have. 17 on the shot clock here. And a turnover by the Panthers. Heath takes it at the rack. There is Mitchell, or Cox rather. And Cox, now they kick it out to Hayward. And Cox is fouled. He had an opportunity. It looks like he was right there. Lost the handle when he went up.
Well, I like Heath pushing the basketball, but he didn't have control over the basketball and got lucky to corral it in the lane and got it up on the backboard, which a lot of times is Georgia Tech's best offense. Get that ball on the backboard, let those big guys come clean it up, but they weren't able to finish, but they get an extra possession because of rebounding the basketball and have a chance to cut into this lead a little bit more.
Michael Young goes out of the game. Cameron Wright picked up his 3rd personal foul. Foul troubles now on both teams. Cox being in the worst problems with 4. As we go under the 4-minute mark here to play. Marcus Georges-Hunt looks at the shot clock, and it's down to 10. This is Cox on the baseline. 4 on the shot clock. Marcus Hunt, or Georges-Hunt rather, is long with his shot. Coming away with empty possessions at that end.
Well, great defensive stand for the Pitt Panthers. They showed them the ball screen. When they were put in the rotation, they flew around, and they forced Georgia Tech into a tough 3-point shot. Exactly what they want to do.
For 3. Still alive, and Cox comes away with it. Wanko had 2 chances for the Panthers. And timeout, Georgia Tech.
This is a battle, Tim. It's a battle every time that shot hits the rim, and guys are fighting, clawing, doing everything they can to push their team to a lead.
If you're Georgia Tech, what's Brian Gregory telling these guys right now, Jason?
Get a great shot. You have to come down. You have to be patient. I'm sure it's going to be some sort of ball screen action, probably a roll and replace where they bring Cox up into the ball screen, allow him to roll to the basket. They're going to replace with either Georges-Hunt or Sampson, guys that can catch and shoot or attack off the bounce. But they want to get something going to the basket, and more importantly, they can't have an empty possession with the turnover.
How about Jamie Dixon? What's he telling Pitt?
We have to get a stop. We're a couple stops away. We have a 3-point lead. Let's defend without fouling. Let's get our ball screen defense down, what we're going to do. And more importantly, when that ball is spun out and we're in rotation, we have to fly around, show our hands, move our feet, and finish the possession with a rebound.
Closed captioning for ACC basketball is brought to you by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's Bo time. It's crunch time here at the Peterson Event Center. 12,508 sold out. And we're ready for the final 3 minutes of play. Yellow Jackets down 3. Hayward kicks it out. Stevens. Empty.
Empty possession, but I think Brian Gregory wanted Georges Hunt to go one-on-one at the top of the key. He had a smaller defender on him. He could have worked it down the lane, did a spin move, and shot right over top of Robinson, but instead he was passive, got rid of the basketball, and they take a tough contested three-point shot instead.
Timeout. Jamie Dixon, Pittsburgh. Each team has 2 remaining. Two teams are battling hard because Georgia Tech is looking for its first ACC win of the year. They've been in dogfights all 4 of their first games. And of course for Pitt, they're at 2-2 and try to climb above 500.
Well, if you're looking at Pitt, they're trying to keep pace with the middle of the pack of the ACC. They've done an excellent job, especially this home stand. You have to defend your home court. They gave one away against Clemson. They have to finish off this ball game if they want to keep pace with the rest of the ACC moving forward.
You were an ACC star. How much of that do the players think about or talk about during the season, especially early in the season like this?
Well, you absolutely think about it, and you understand that during the course of the season, you have to keep pace and you have to win basketball games, especially on your home court. Pitt has had a 3-game homestand. They have to win these ball games because that schedule is going to be unkind when you turn the page. So you have to take advantage of these opportunities, and they have a great opportunity here today.
All right, here we go now. The final 2.5 minutes of this game. Crunch time in Pittsburgh. Wright with the jumper and a rebound by Stevens. Correction, Sampson with a rebound.
You're Georgia Tech right here. You have to execute. You have to set good legal screens, and you have to get the shot that you want. They didn't do that in the first 15 seconds, so Brian Gregory calls a timeout. He's going to draw something up to get the shot that he wants, but they have to execute it. The last timeout, again, he drew up an isolation play for Georges Hunt. He thought that was the mismatch. Whatever they draw up here, the players have to execute it when they step on the floor.
This is fun to watch. It's a little chess match between these 2 coaches, 2 very good young coaches. Jamie Dixon, 49 years old. Brian Gregory, 48 years old. You see the possessions and the turnovers in the second half, and that too has been a factor. And how about, here's the guy you've been talking about, Marcus Georges Hunt.
Well, the coach is going to do their job drawing up the plays, but make no mistake, players make plays. Georges Hunt has shown us glimpses of what he can do inside, running out in transition, finishing at the rim, and get to the foul line, putting pressure on the defense. And this crunch time right now, 2:13 to go, the ball's going to be in his hands as Georgia Tech's best player. He has to have the confidence to step up, to take the shot, make the shot, if the Jackets are going to win on the road.
Marcus Georges Hunt, 6'5", 214-pound junior from College Park, Georgia. Shot clock, 15. Here he is. They set a pick. Shot clock at 5. Jorgensen spins into the lane. Taken away by the Panthers. Oh,
nice
what an entry pass. Oh, Robinson with the great entry pass.
Nice pass.
Nice finish.
Nice catch, and an even better finish by Young, going up with the left hand with the kiss off the glass.
Knocked out of bounds. This ball belongs to Pitt. Brian Gregory doesn't like it. Timeout on the floor. We'll be back after a word from your local ACC station. Peterson Event Center has been rocking this afternoon. Here's our game summary. It's presented by Valero.
Well, we talked about Georgia Tech needing to get transition baskets. They've done just that. Bench points, they've done that. But they have to do the job of taking care of the basketball. They're turning the basketball over at a high rate in crunch time, and Pitt's going to make you pay for that. James Robinson averaging 5 assists a game, getting it inside to his best interior finisher. And you see Young using his body, putting his left hand, putting that shoulder between the basket and his defender, shielding the basketball, finishing with a nice left hand layup off the glass.
That last play was reviewed. Who touched it last? And they say it remains with Pitt. And this foul will be called on Stevenson, or Sampson, correction.
Well, I'm not sure if that's the guy you want to foul if you're Georgia Tech. Jamel Artis, an 85% foul shooter on the season. And he's having a well of a ball game, scoring the basketball. And, but I understand Georgia Tech, they're trying to extend this ball game, but I think you want to find a little less accurate foul shooter than Jamel Artis.
Artis makes the first. He's an 85% free throw shooter, as you said. He's made 40 of his 47 this year. 18 points today. That's the 9th double-digit scoring game he's had this season. Misses the second. .118 to play in the ball game. Good, followed by Charles Mitchell, and he's fouled.
If you're Georgia's Hunt, that's what you need to do at this point in the ball game. You have to attack the basket. You have to get in the lane. What does that do? It puts the defense surrounding you, which frees up your teammates to get offensive rebounds. And now Charles Mitchell has a chance to step to the line with the clock, stops him, and put points on the board. Georgia's Hunt has to remain aggressive if the Jackets have any chance of pulling off this upset on the road.
Charles Mitchell, second in the ACC in offensive rebounds. That was a big one there. He scores the first free throw. He's got one more coming. 72 seconds remain in this ball game. Makes them both.
On the make, Georgia Tech will set up their pressure. They'll decide who they want to foul. They'll probably try to get a steal initially, but if they don't get that steal, there's going to be the immediate foul. They're trying to stretch this game out. It's 1:11 to go. They're down 4. They're relying on Pitt to miss free throws to give themselves an opportunity to come down offensively with a chance to cut into this lead.
Still a 2-possession game. Georgia's Hunt picks up his 4th personal. Brian Gregory tells him to be smart now. Stevens about to check back in. Mel Artis, the 6'7", 220-pound sophomore. And every free throw now is magnified. Stevens will come back in. Hayward goes out for Georgia Tech. Artis has another one coming. Makes them both, but it's still a 2-possession game.
2-possession ball game, but you have to be conscious of the clock. You have 1:11 to go in this ball game. For Georgia Tech, you want to get a good shot. Doesn't have to be a 3. Preferably something going towards the basket with the possibility of getting fouled, stopping the clock while you're putting points on the board.
Jorgensen pushes it. Along the baseline. Sampson for 3.
Nice job by Jorgensen. Fakes the handoff, dribbles baseline for a nice baseline drift pass over to Sampson, who knows what to do with it. The lucky left, he catches it, shot ready, hands and feet. He catches it, knocks down a well-contested 3-point shot, but he's done that today. And what a timely basket, what a timely assist by Jorgensen.
1-possession game with 60 seconds to play. You see the game reset. The time's remaining. We'll be back.
ACC basketball is being brought to you by Food Lion, official supermarket of the ACC. By your Carolina Ford dealers. By Ruby Tuesday, official corporate champion of the ACC. And by Hyundai.
So it's game on. Hey, fella, come on back. Come back into the arena. Get your shop later. This is a one-possession game with 1 minute to play. Again, Georgia Tech has lost its first 4 ACC games, but none more than 7 points, and that was a double overtime at Notre Dame.
Well, they've been in every ball game. It's a scrappy team who's trying to find a way to step in the winner's circle. If you're Georgia Tech right now, you've seen Artis steps in the line and make 3 or 4. For Pitt, the guys they have in the game, Chris Jones, 67% foul shooter. Cameron Wright hadn't shot many, but he's 60%. You don't want to foul Artis, and you try not to foul James Robinson. You have to find someone else with a lower percentage to step in the line to give yourself a chance to go down offensively after you get a rebound from a foul shot with a chance to cut into this lead even more.
Game on. Pitt is fouled. That's Beal Jorgensen.
And that's exactly what they do. They're playing the percentages here. They tried fouling Jamel Artis as a big guy. You wouldn't expect him to be such a fluent foul shooter, but he is. 85%. And they send Jones to the line at 67%. They're going to bet on him missing these shots. And Brian Gregory over there is drawing up what he wants offensively as when the Jackets get this rebound.
It's a big free throw. 4-point lead. Brian Gregory will make wholesale changes here. Mitchell, Stevens, Georges Hunt, they all come back into the ball game.
Jones misses this shot. Look for Georgia Tech to push it up with the early ball screen and try to get something going to the basket.
Makes them both.
Steps up and makes 2. So now if you're Georgia Tech, you have to execute what Brian Gregory just drew up and preferably get something going to the rim.
Jorgensen, Georges Hunt, left side, running one-hander. Taken away by Pitt. To Jones across the timeline, and the foul on Mitchell, by Mitchell.
But Georgia Tech got what they wanted. They got something going to the basket in the hands of their best player. Pitt played pretty good defense, running them off the foul line. But if you're Georgia Tech, this is what you want. You have your best player attacking the basket, but Pitt did an excellent job in that possession of finishing that play with the rebound, and they're 6 for 7 for the foul line with Jones having a chance to step up and knock in 2 more, and he starts it off with making the first.
How strong has he been at the line? He's only a 68% free throw shooter, and with the game on the line, he's been knocking them down.
Well, he's a guy that's known as a shooter. He leads them in three-point make, so you would expect him to step up to the foul line, but in crunch time situations, it makes things very much different, and he stepped up huge at crunch time at the foul line.
That's a 7-point lead with 31 seconds left. Jorgensen for 3. Yes! 28.7 seconds left. And they're going to put him back in the line.
Jorgensen just walks the ball down the court. They set a ball screen. Cameron Wright goes under 2 players, which you can never do, and that gives the young point guard open area, open view to the basket, and steps up and knocks down a timely 3-point shot.
Before that, Jorgensen had only been 8 for 30 beyond the arc. And now Pitt misses a free throw.
And if you're Pitt, you have Young running to the basketball, and again, that's someone that you would expect Georgia Tech to want to foul, though he is a 70% foul shooter, but you'd rather put a big guy at the line than a guard if you're Georgia Tech.
Makes the second. Final 28 seconds. Shot clock is off. Marcus Georges Hunt. That should do it. Mitchell with the foul. Put him back at the line. .9 seconds remain.
Well, for this Pitt team, it's about a team effort, gang rebounding, and they're going to need it as they go on the road. The next 5 games, they're at Duke. They have Louisville here at Virginia Tech, but they're going to go through the gauntlet of the ACC, playing some of the upper echelon teams in this next schedule. But taking care of their home court these last 2 contests are going to give them the confidence to go on the road to compete.
keep in mind, Durant Johnson was suspended for the season before it even began. Cameron Wright broke his foot in September. He had surgery. He's just now playing back into shape. So this is a Pitt team that's just now starting to come together, and they hope to have it on the rise here as they go into the bulk of the ACC schedule.
Well, it's a young team. Again, all of these players will return next season, except for Cameron Wright. And it's a team that has dealt with adversity. When you talk about Johnson being out, he's a guy they expected to be their leading scorer who can stretch the defense, make open shots as well as splash. And Cameron Wright, the young man who was their leading returning scorer, being out for 7 games. Jamie Dixon had to put this team back together and change the way they were going to do things, and they're hitting their stride right now at a good time.
70-65, 5-point game, but only 7.9 seconds left. And that should do it. Artis with 20, Wright with 20, both their career highs. Artis 16 of 20. 16 of his 20 points came in the second half. Terrific ball game.
Well, it was. You had two teams fighting tooth and nail to step in the winner's circle, and we knew it was going to be a battle inside, but give a lot of credit to the players of Pitt for stepping up and winning on their home court.
So the Panthers of Pittsburgh come away with another win, 70-65 over Georgia Tech. The Yellow Jackets still looking for their first ACC win of the year. For highlights and must-see moments from this game and others, check out theacc.com. You have been watching coverage of the Atlantic Coast Conference basketball on the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports. For Jason Cable, I'm Tim Graham saying so long from the Pitt.